In this video, we will discuss the derivation of the shear formula. To derive the shear formula, let's first consider a simply supported beam with an arbitrary loading. We have that shown here, and up until now, we should be comfortable with finding internal forces by first finding reaction forces at the supports, and then taking a section. Here's our section beam, and at the cut, we have internal forces. So a normal force, a shear force, and a moment. So with this moment, you should already know how to calculate the bending stress. And that's simply sigma equals my over I. From this shear force, we're going to calculate the shear stress, which is tau, and that's equal to VQ over IT. So we're going to start off by deriving this shear stress formula. Now going back to our simply supported beam, we can take a look at a segment with width dx. So an expanded view of the segment is right here. It has width dx, and its cross-sectional area is A. So I'm going to assume a positive bending moment sign convention and draw the stress distribution onto this beam segment. So above the neutral axis, this beam segment experiences compression, and below the neutral axis, it experiences tension. So this is the longitudinal stress, and this is due to bending. So let's call the stress distribution on the left side sigma, and the stress distribution on the right side sigma prime. On either side, we want to resolve the stresses into a pair of forces and the couple moment. So we can draw them here. On the left side, we can call it dF, the pair of forces, and the couple moment, we can call it m. And similarly, on the right side, you can call it dF prime. And this has a couple moment of m plus a differential moment dm. So if we want to write the equilibrium equation here, the sum of forces in the x direction, the horizontal direction, with positive being to the right, on the left side we have a dF and a minus dF. And on the right side we have a minus dF prime plus a dF prime. And so clearly this equals to 0, and we can say that equilibrium is satisfied. So now let's take a look at the stress distribution for the top portion of the beam only. So I can draw that here, this top portion only, which corresponds to a portion of the cross-section. Here we have the same beam segment, but we're looking at the top portion only. And we can call the distance from the neutral axis to the cut y prime. And we can redraw all the dimensions and internal forces from the previous diagram for the full section. So this segment still has width dx, and this is the stress distribution on both sides. The top portion is above the neutral axis, so it undergoes compression, and we have sigma and sigma prime. And this top portion corresponds to a cross-sectional area of A prime, which is some fraction of the total area A. So let's write the equilibrium equation for this top portion only. We need to convert the stresses sigma and sigma prime into forces to consider equilibrium in the horizontal direction. So we want to remember that average stress is force over area. However, the stress distribution here is not uniform, so we can't consider an average stress, but we can find the resultant force by integrating the stress distribution over the area A prime. So writing the equilibrium equation, you can say that the sum of force in the x direction, pointing to the right, is the integral of the stress distribution on the left side, which is sigma, over A prime. And on the right, we have a minus because it's going in the opposite direction, and it's the integral of sigma prime over dA prime. Now we want to remember that bending stress is sigma my over I. We can substitute bending stress back into equation 1 to write our equilibrium equation in terms of y only. So writing that here, sum of f of x is integral of my over I over A prime, and that's minus m plus dm over I times y times dA prime. And this simplifies to a negative term. Because this my over I term cancels out. And we can see here that this does not equal 0, and this integral does not equal 0. So we can say that because sum of f of x does not equal 0, equilibrium is not satisfied. So clearly, to maintain equilibrium, we need to add an extra term into this expression so that the sum of forces does equal 0. So let's introduce a longitudinal shear stress term onto the bottom face of this portion. And I'm going to draw that here and call it tau. And so tau is the shear stress and the stress term. And to use it into our force summation, we need to first convert it into a force. And so we see that the stress is acting on the bottom face, and this bottom face has a width dx. And if we let the thickness of the segment going into the page be t, I'm going to label that on the cross section here t, the area that tau actually acts upon is t times dx. So the area of this bottom face is t dx. We can go ahead and add this shear stress term to our equilibrium equation. So here it's an addition of a tau times a t dx, same as here. And we know that the summation should equal 0. So we can go ahead and move this term to the other side to get rid of the negative sign. And what we have when we rearrange is tau equals 1 over it dm by dx, and we have our integral. If we look at what this dm by dx term is, that's actually the internal shear force at the section, which we have previously learned to determine by using shear force diagrams, so that we can just call this v, because v is shear. And we can replace this integral, which is the first moment of inertia of the area A prime about the neutral axis. We can call it q. So to summarize, tau, we simplified, is equal to vq over it. Just to recap, if we draw the cross section from before, this cross section has a neutral axis. The shear stress that we're calculating is at a distance of y prime from the neutral axis of the full section. And v, the internal shear force at the section, actually applied over the entire cross-section, and you can usually determine by a shear force diagram. And this section has a moment of inertia I and a cross-sectional area A. But we always look at a sectioned area, which has a width of t and an area of A prime. And with this, we calculate Q, which we will go over how to find in the next videos. In conclusion, in this video, we have demonstrated how the shear formula was derived by considering equilibrium of a segment of a beam under transverse loading. Now that we've derived the shear formula, we can move on to the next videos to discuss how it can be applied to simple beam cross-sections.